one foot to the other. A beanie hat was pulled down low over her long fair hair. A short leather jacket, covered in studs and zips, barely covered her midriff. Stella lifted the handset. "Yes?" she said. "I'm freezing. Can I come inside?" Snowflakes churned around her as she shouted at the intercom. She shivered with cold, and she didn't look like much of a threat. "Could I use your phone?" She looked up into the camera. Her face was lovely on the screen, with cat-like eyes and high cheekbones. "I'm sorry," Stella said. "No. Try one of the neighbours." She placed the receiver back onto the cradle. She waited until the screen faded to black and the person outside disappeared, and then she returned to the living room and took up her place at the window. But she was uneasy and the spell was broken. The snow that covered everything, the lawn, the trees, and the hills beyond, no longer seemed magical. She hated being alone. The daylight hours were difficult, the nights almost impossible. The air shattered as the doorbell rang again. The police would hardly be impressed if she called them out to complain that a young woman had rung her doorbell. And she didn't want to disturb her husband. But she so wanted to call him and ask him what to do. Her BlackBerry was right beside her. She picked it up, ran her fingers across the keypad, put it down again. She would not call him. She would deal with this herself. She was getting better. Of course, she wasn't. She was alone and helpless and useless. She wanted Max. If she had her way, she would have him home all day. Max deserved a better wife. He had rescued her, and then it had all predictably gone to hell. She returned to the front door, a rising anger competing with her nerves. The intercom screen showed the same young woman, with her beanie pulled down almost to her eyebrows and the absurdly short leather coat that provided no warmth. "What is it?" Stella said. She babbled as she looked up into the camera. "I used to live here," she said. "I came up from London to see my old house. I didn't know the snow would be so bad. It's all frozen and it's really steep going back down the hill. Can I please come inside?" Stella realised that the girl outside was very young. She couldn't be more than 15 years old. 14, maybe. A child. "I'll call a taxi to take you back down to the station," Stella said. "You can't. They shut down because of the snow. Please? The tube isn't running either. I'm stuck here. I can't go back down the road or I'll break my neck." Her voice was rising with outrage and distress. "Can I just come inside?" The girl was shaking with cold. Her lips were a purple gash, startling and dark against the pale skin of her face. She looked as though she was about to cry. Stella felt sorry for her. Not sorry enough, however, to risk opening the door. "No," Stella said. "Go and try one of the other houses. You've got an entire street to choose from." "Please," the girl said. "I'm so cold. Why can't you just let me in?" She pouted at the camera, and she stomped her white trainers on the black marble tiles. Stella slammed the receiver back against its white plastic cradle. She watched as the girl tried in vain to keep warm. She paced up and down, leaving a haphazard pattern in the snow around Stella's front door. She wrapped her arms around herself and bounced up and down. At a certain point, she stopped fighting. She sank to the floor, her head on her knees. The cold must be unbearable, like torture.